Well, hello, we are here, and I'm hoping this has gone live. David? Yep, it did. There we went. And as you guys watch the screen, you can see me actually doing a live stream. I'm doing this live through Richland Church of the Nazarene's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And so with that being said, hey folks, this is not devotional time. This is actually a workshop at Northwest District Assembly. It's our 118th. Yes, the denomination's only 114 years old, but we are 4 years older than the denomination because we got records going back that far. So I want to also let you guys know that I just know enough of live streaming, just enough to be dangerous. A lot of equipment that I have that I'm going to talk about today and walk through with everybody that's here. I also have some live captive audience people. They are going to lock the doors here in just a few minutes, and you're locked in. You know, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We are not going to kidnap you, I promise. But just to let you know, I basically gutted my office and have set up my portable studio, so to speak, here in Yakima, Washington at the Convention Center. And RCN family, you're going to notice this is not normal, okay? So no daily devotions. I'm talking with my friends here at District Assembly, and we're going to talk about live streaming. By the way, just to let you know, and I forgot to bring a few pieces, but you don't have to have all this equipment to live stream. I simply started out with a smartphone. And when I did that, this is what you end up seeing, and you'll see it here. There we go. When I first did that, it was 2016. I had a lot of friends who were on different sides of the discussion that along with the election, and boy howdy, were things getting really crazy. Friends that claim to be saved, friends that claim to be sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit, and they were just wrapped up in this politically charged election cycle, and the things that I was hearing, not so sanctified, not so filled with the Holy Spirit. And so this idea popped into my head, and as you saw there was the message that I preached was simply this. No matter where you land on the political scale, our job as disciples of Jesus Christ does not change, no matter who holds the presidential office. And I went online, and that's what I did. Did that for started doing that for several different services, church services, and just continued in doing it. I got a smartphone. Thank you, Amazon Prime. I ordered a tripod and a little holder, and in fact, this little microphone right here just hooked right into my smartphone and did the up the nose Facebook shot. Well, fast forward to March 2020. And I was in Richland Church of the Nazarene, and Pastor Jerry was preaching, and we were all about ready to get shut down. And I told our tech guys, we're going live, and here's how we're going to do it. And I, again, brought a little better smartphone. The first one was an i7. This next one was like an XR. Okay, so it had a little bit better camera. You notice the picture's a little better, right? Yeah, so the picture's a little bit better. The sound was still the same because we were using this microphone. But you guys remember that overnight in March of 2020, we all became televangelists like that, didn't we? We did. And so, you know, things got a little bit better. And remember, our job doesn't change no matter what. It's about loving God and loving others. And so we went forward with it. Now this is the next thing that we do. And you guys will notice that you guys who are here live with me in person, you guys will notice that there's about a 7-second delay to our friends who are probably watching, some of which are going, what is Pastor Dan doing? This is not devotions. Anyways, so this is where we are now, where we get really nice, clean shots with cameras. This was, in fact, Pastor Jerry's last Sunday. This was his thumbnail that we put on the video once the video is done and completely uploaded to Facebook and YouTube, because those are the two platforms we use. And Sunday worship, this is his Sunday worship service. 9 times out of 10, the guys try to pull a really nice pose that doesn't get us looking really too goofy. But there are times. Oh yeah, and then you guys will look at this guy here. This is my daily devotion slide that's coming up next. It's kind of the newer thumbnail, if you will. And this is something I put together for my daily devotions that we put out on the same channel. A lot of difference from 2016 till now, okay? A lot of difference. Even today, you guys will see, here's a picture from my view of what I am looking at and watching and doing. This is my studio today, this little bitty area. And you're gonna see all sorts of different things that are up on the desk, and I'm gonna talk about them in a little bit. We're gonna talk about equipment. So, first thing that I want to talk about today, really, as we go into live streaming, and we're going to have a question and answer time. So if you've got a question about something, if you're watching live, it's real simple. Put a comment in the comment section. I've got Pastor David Gossett, our family life pastor from Richland Church of the Nazarene, and he is going to be watching those, and he can get those up to me at the end for question and answer time. If you guys here in person have questions, just make sure you write them down. When we get there, we'll get to you, okay? Probably the most important thing about live streaming that we have today is our internet speed. You've got to be, and we couldn't do this today. Thank you to Mindy Allsworth and the team here at Yakima Convention Center. They got us a hardline internet so that we could do this and go live. So you guys would be able to see both in person and online what it is we can do with live streaming. You'll notice that from time to time, I am changing different things underneath me. Those little buttons there, that's another piece of equipment that's really inexpensive that allows us to do some things that really polish the live stream. Okay? But the first thing we've got to talk about is our internet speed. And what the speed that we're worried about is upload speed. I know, when they advertise it, they always advertise download, 100 megabytes per second. Oh my goodness, yes. But 9 times out of 10, that's only coupled with 10 megabyte upload. Now, if you're using Restream or Vimeo or any of the basically the platforms that stream a streaming service for you guys. If you're doing that, they usually only use 1 megabit per second, but you need that to be an unaltered. You don't want the fluctuation, so you need to be hardline, okay? Ethernet. You're going to talk about kilobytes per second, or kilobits per second, bit rates per second, all sorts of different things go into a smooth live stream. Now, when you're checking that and setting that, you guys are like, Dan, you're throwing around some numbers and some names and all this stuff. We don't know anything about that. Guess what? There are programs I'm going to talk about today that will take care of it for you. That's the awesomeness of doing the live stream. And some of these programs are free. Some of them are not, okay? But some of them are free, and they really do help you in making a better live stream. So, your encoder, that's fancy talk for either the software or hardware that you're using, because we use a streaming service. You will notice that we have a streaming service going on, and that streaming service I use is Restream. There's Vimeo. You can actually do it from Zoom now. Facebook Live is another one, okay? But if you're going to multiple platforms, you need to use something that'll do multiple platforms, right? So when you're talking about that, you're talking about your outgoing bit rate. That's got to be set properly. And again, most of these programs will help you do that. You just need to remember what your internet speed is, okay? So usual number of bit rate is about 4,000 kbps. That gets you to at least a high quality. It's not 4K. It's going to be like 720p, 1080p. Can do that. Facebook operates at a lower value than YouTube and Vim and what are some of these others? Twitch and Periscope. I don't even know if Periscope's still around. Anybody know if Periscope's still around? Chris D, is Periscope's not around anymore, is it?
But they have a different one on Twitter.
Yeah, they do now. And so they have different things that will allow you to have different quality of video. The biggest thing is that you want the highest quality of your original shots, so that the services themselves will kind of bring them down to their level and what they need to have done. So in terms of your encoder's outgoing bit rate, you want to set it a little bit lower than your maximum so that you have a little bit of room, right, for network fluctuations. And then producing the best live stream that you've got. If you have it set too high to the top, you're either going to have pixelated live stream and it's going to be all just jumbled up, or you're actually going to experience lag, and then you'll have these points where you kind of freeze and then you catch up, and then you freeze and you catch up. It looks funny like the first time it does it, but then people don't like watching the videos afterwards. Regardless of your network strength, you got to make sure to also record your stream locally. My computer will record my stream because I have it set up that way. Again, it's a lot of what your program will do for you in that particular program. Most streaming services, like I said, need 1 Mbps to have good quality upload, and that gets us kind of to some software. How many of you use Vimeo? Has anybody used Vimeo? Nobody. I don't use Vimeo either. I don't know a lot about it. It's a little more expensive than most, okay? I use, and our church uses Restream. Restream will send out your stream to multiple platforms all at the same time. So like right now, Pastor David, are we on YouTube?
Yes.
If you were on our Facebook channel, you would be seeing the same stream at the same time that it goes to YouTube. And that's because of Restream. That's a service. We subscribe to it. We pay the yearly fee so that it's a little bit cheaper. I think you get like a 10 or 15% discount. But again, there are other streaming services out there. It's really simple to use Restream because it does a lot of stuff for you. Okay, so they've got a great price. They're not the top, they're not the bottom, they're about in the middle. So when we went to look at who to go with for a streaming service, we first began to ask our people, what social media are you on? And to our surprise, a majority of our people, including our senior citizens, are on YouTube, not Facebook. I was kind of surprised about that because YouTube TV is something that younger generations have instead of DirecTV, Dish, cable. And I was not thinking that our senior citizens were going to have and be keyed into this or plugged into YouTube TV. And when we found that out, we thought, oh, this is great. So we went looking for a streaming service that would do both Facebook, because we do have quite a few people on Facebook, and then also YouTube Live. And so because we had those two things, we went and looked. Again, there are several of them out there, and I even think now you can actually start streaming from Zoom, if I'm not incorrect, and that's what we're doing here at the assembly. They're actually making the stream go over Zoom instead of Facebook Live or YouTube Live or anything like that. So look at probably the main thing I want you to take away from this right here is look at who your target is. Who are you trying to get this message out to? And those are the streaming services you need to be plugged into. When you go to Restream, when you go to Vimeo, when you go to all the different ones that they have, Restream will even do LinkedIn. Did you know LinkedIn has live video? Telegram, InMotion, Twitter's new one, I'm not sure what it is. Twitch is out there. Some of these things I haven't even played with. We've just started looking at going and broadcasting to them because we can do, 30?
I think 30, yeah.
I think at the level where we pay for, we can have our stream go to 30 different places all at the same time. Which, when you think about it, that's a lot of different social media platforms. So software is going to be really dependent upon who your target is, where you're going and who your target is. Does anybody know what time our session ends? I was like putting this stuff together, all this equipment, until the very... 2:20? 3:20. Okay. Equipment. I want you guys, you notice I have a lot of equipment up here. We did not spend a fortune on equipment, okay? You notice I have colored light behind me. It's kind of pinkish colored. That was like $60. These are indoor, outdoor. These are made for your house, by the way, to like create mood lighting in your home. I think it's hilarious. My tech team at Richland Church of the Nazarene, they are awesome. And they're the ones that have come up with all of this stuff, okay? So they're like, here's all the backlight. Dan, you need backlights, okay? Dan, you need some lighting to get the shadows off your face, you know? They like set me up. Hey, Dan, you need a different camera other than your cell phone, because that's what I was using was my cell phone. It was a pretty good camera. It wasn't bad. But all of this stuff, I mean, I have a little soundboard here. You guys know I've been changing the bottom of the screen to have different messages on it. I have my name, I have the title of today, what's going on, and then I have like a blank one. Oh, here's one. I'll even put up my my personal email address in case anyone wants to email me, and I can get you guys going, at least help you, give you some right ideas and some best practice ideas, those kinds of things. But again, I think the lights with these stands were like $100, okay? Not that expensive, okay? This little stream deck that I'm changing the bottom of my screen with, $150, okay? Not a lot to be able to do it. The software that I use is called Open Broadcast Software, or OBS. And it's free, okay? OBS is great because that's what I set all the little scenes up in that I do. And if, you know, when I go to PowerPoint and I show you my PowerPoint slide of like the different camera angles and all of the different things that I have up here, the picture of the studio, that kind of thing, that's all controlled with this little deal. Now, I could be using my mouse and I could point and click and point and click and point and click if I really wanted to. You don't have to have some of these things. But yeah, it makes a big difference when we do. And having some tech people behind you as well. And I'll tell you this, if I don't know the answer to the question, you guys email me, you know who I'm gonna go to? I'm gonna go to our IT guys and I'm gonna say, hey, I need you to get a hold of so-and-so and answer a question for them. Because they are so awesome about that. They are so awesome about that. You guys might notice, some of you up here, I'm tapping my foot. I have a little tablet up here that's underneath my camera, and I use it like a teleprompter, and it's got my notes on it. And I have a foot switch that turns the pages. It's also what I use on Sunday morning when I play my guitar, okay? And I'm up there leading worship, okay? And I need to turn a page because when you're playing guitar, both your hands are in use. And so I have a little, it's called a monkey pedal. Monkey key is what it's actually called. It was just real inexpensive off of Amazon. I love Amazon. Sometimes when I do devotions on weekdays, I do songs. I haven't for a while because my voice gets tired because I'm leading worship every Sunday. But when I do that, I actually have a soundboard. And this soundboard has where I can plug my guitar in so that I can manage sound for the live stream. It's different than just if I play through the microphone and let the ambient sound come through. If you notice on our Sunday morning church services at RCN, we actually have somebody mixing a whole separate channel just for our live stream on Sunday morning, okay? When you do sound, and music especially, and you're trying to capture the wonderful music that we do on Sunday mornings, I often find that if you're just out there with a microphone picking up ambient sound in your sanctuary, it's gonna not sound very good. It never sounds as good as when you're there present. However, most soundboards have an extra channel that can go out. We feed that into our live stream, and we have somebody else mixing that channel specifically for our live stream. They put on, what are those called? Noise canceling headphones, because they're in the sound booth, so that they don't hear anything else. And then they can mix a really good sound for what goes out on our live stream. So remember, those are some of the little pieces here and there that nobody knew about in 2020 when we all went live and did the up the nose shot, with our iPhones. And some of us still do that, and that's okay. That's okay. This setup just helps get you maybe one more step in the direction, because guess what? None of this is going to go away. And I think somebody already said that in assembly, that this kind of stuff isn't going to go away. This is our on-ramp. People are going to check us out. They're going to check you out, what you are online, before they show up at your church. Okay? This is the new on-ramp. Having things like the text new here, we have a thing where you can text in and fill out a comment card, right? Because remember, we didn't have comment cards in the backs of our pews, and if you're online, how do you do that, right? You can't. So it's text new here to, ours is 77411 if you're new to Richland Church of the Nazarene. Microphones, cameras are starting to get a little bit cheaper now. For a while there, they just went through the roof. This is a Logitech Brio. My one thing about cameras is don't go cheap. You don't have to have the Cadillac, but don't go cheap. You want at least 4K, because guess what? That's going to, pretty soon, 4K is going to be the minimum, right? These things never go down. They always continue to go more. And even the newer iPhones, the iPhone 13 Pro, man, my camera is better on that than it ever was on the XR. And you saw the picture of Pastor Jerry that I had up there. It was pretty good picture of him on March 15th of 2020. It was a great picture of him when he went live for the first time preaching a sermon, and that's not a bad picture. The camera angle kind of a little bit off, but not as good as it could be, right? It never is as good as it can be. So, I forgot to talk about lighting. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes here and going, oh my goodness. So these lights are set at a different temperature, a different color. It's to make my face not become this like white ball of light. And it's also to show my face, okay? The lights behind us, or behind me, create a little bit of depth. So it helps to add to just really the overall appearance of your live stream. There's an article on Blog B Live that tells you how you can check this, and it's real simple. If you take a light, like your cell phone flashlight, and shine it into your hand, and your hand is a white ball of light, that's too close. If you back it off and it darkens up, it's too far away. But where you can actually see your hand and the creases in your hand, like your fingers a little bit, you know what I'm saying? How you can kind of see the tone of your skin. That's the kind of lighting you want on your face. And so it doesn't totally wash you out, and it doesn't totally wipe you out, but you still want it to do that. So we also have these lights kind of positioned funny. Did you notice that? They're kind of angled in. I've got 3 of them. It's to keep all the shadow off my face. And, sometimes it's you have to watch this if you wear glasses. One of the things I learned is if you can't get the lights to not reflect, tip your glasses. You can still see, and it'll get the light off your glasses. I have these positions so we don't have that issue. Some people use backdrops. I like using walls. If you guys see my devotion, the picture that I had for my devotions, you'll notice that I do everything in my office for my devotions, and I'm using my walls, the pictures on my walls, the lamp in the background, the color going up the back. You see that in this thumbnail that I've got here. And it's really important that you create this image of depth in there. okay, that shows difference. Now, some people like backdrops, and that's fine, but make sure, like, we have them on movable stands and stuff at our church so that we can put them back further or closer up to make the camera angles and the shots better. And a lot of this just takes a lot of practicing and experimenting. Singing songs took a lot of practice and experimenting to get the guitar level and my voice level right for online, because I'm the only one listening, right? I don't have a sound guy back there. So it took a lot of time of doing some things and recording some things and then listening and watching. And that also helps you create your presence on your live stream too. Okay? So we're going to open things up for some question and answer. I know this was really fast. But hopefully we can get some dialogue going and answer any questions that you guys have. Ooh, I still left that up there, didn't I? Wow, that's been that's been up there for a bit. And if there are folks who are online, you guys who are watching online, if you have questions, again, just go to the comment section. Pastor David will get those questions to me. Does anybody have a question? Yes?
Your rationale or thinking of using Restream versus like Resi?
I actually haven't used, is it Resi, R-E-Z-I?
R-E-S-I.
R-E-S-I. I haven't used that. How many platforms does it shoot out to at one time? Countless?
It's a number.
Okay, so it's probably just a pricing thing.
I think Resi may be cheaper.
It might be. It might be. When we first started doing this by April or May, we were into this of 2020. Restream and Vimeo were the two. Restream was the cheaper of the two. And they still are. I mean, they're not too awfully expensive. But as long as Resi gets to the people you need it to get to, that's who you should use. Okay? That's I haven't compared the two of those. I compared Vimeo and Restream because, you know, a couple years back, that's all there was. This was all kind of new.
Yeah, there were some feature differences between Vimeo to Resi. Resi didn't have certain features, but again, you start to live with it from a cost standpoint.
Yeah. So on our Restream stuff, this is another thing you might want to think about. We're able to do this as a site license. So when we buy Restream, anyone that is part of the church can use that through the church's stuff, right? Some programs require that every single machine that you're going to use to broadcast from has its own program license and price point. So you need to make sure about site license and stuff like that. Phil, you had a question.
Yeah, music for live streaming.
Music for live streaming, yes. CCLI has their normal, you're going to have church on Sunday morning license. And then they also have, in addition to that, it's an extra cost. It's not that much extra. It's only like $5 to $10 a month, maybe. No, it's $5 a month more. So $60 a year more to have the streaming, which allows you to stream any of the songs you pull off a Song Select. So you would get the CCLI license, and then you would get the streaming license. Now, if you guys have people in your church that sing special music or play special music and they use accompaniment CDs, CCLI has now a solution for that, and that came from the pandemic. They're working with over 300 producers of soundtracks to create what they call Streaming Plus. I don't know what the cost extra is on that. It is not that much, but I'll tell you what, it's way better than having a lawsuit, okay? And if you have people who are singing specials, that you need to make sure that their publisher is working with CCLI, because they don't have everybody, but they have most of your mainline track producers, and even choral track producers. They're working with CCLI. And so you would have their Streaming Plus instead of streaming add-on, and that will allow you to stream those special musics. So that's kind of what you need to be doing. It's all based on church size. So, you know, if you only have attendance on Sunday morning is only 60 people in the building, you know, they've got attendance split there, you know, for like 0 to 99 and 100 to 200, you know, and so it's all based on that. Yeah, Lisa.
Okay, so I have two.
Okay.
I'm gonna a question I got since that came up. So with us not having a live band or any kind of live musicians at all, I am pretty, you know, hooked on or stuck to canned music at this point. But I have purchased, you know, like there's a couple of different places where I can purchase songs that have the PowerPoint and the soundtrack, and I can do splits and all that kind of stuff. And so I've been purchasing songs like that. I'm trying to remember like worship songs.
Worship House.
There's Worship House, but there's a cheaper one. It comes out of the UK actually. No, it's worship lyrics.
So,
Anyways.
There's also Southern Spice.
So yeah, but any of those, does the CCLI expandable streaming, now when we stream and we do our live thing off of Facebook, I never show the camera to anything that's being projected because of those reasons. They just kind of hear it here, you know, and you know I'm loud, over top of, you know, just that sounds like the music background. Will CCLI cover those things as well?
So here's what I want to tell you. Check your end user license agreement from the place that you purchase those from.
Okay.
Now, CCLI has started producing, for some of their songs, they have started producing tracks that go along with it. They're not cheap. I'll just tell you right now. I think they're about $20 a song on the inexpensive side. Some of them go up to 25. End user license agreement, EULA. Basically, y'all know when you guys install a program or an app or something on there and it says agree to these terms, that's a EULA, okay? EULA. What's that? The one that no one reads, and that probably we all violate at some point in time, right? Check that with the people who you're purchasing from, Lisa, and see if they are usable for streaming in live services. And another thing to check also, because Facebook and YouTube and a lot of these places, like we have a devotion playlist of all my devotions past. They just stay on those on our Facebook page under videos, and then you go to playlists. So all that stuff is still in there. You need to see if that's something that can just be live streamed, or can it stay in there? Yes?
So the same vein that she was going with, I bought stuff as far as from Worship House and SermonSpice.com, and it says you purchase the streaming rights for it, but then Facebook will then flag us. And it's like, we've already bought the stupid thing.
Right.
And so they'll flag us like for every song that we're doing.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
so
Facebook is not as bad as YouTube. YouTube is allowing copyright holders from other countries, if that video is seen from someone in another country, companies like Hexacorp, which are third-party copyright administrators, they then flag it. So then we can test it. There's always a dispute. And I dispute as much as I possibly can. And I show, and in my dispute, I write, we purchased the use, and we're using it within the terms of use for Richland Church of the Nazarene. Right. Okay? If it has to do with CCLI music I pick for Sunday morning, then I put it on, I put our CCLI license and our Streaming Plus license number in my dispute. And I haven't lost one of those yet. Where I tend to lose things at is like from Sermon Spice or Skit Guys, or when you're buying videos to show during your service, you may be able to stream it, but you can't leave it on there. You have to edit it out if you're gonna leave it like in your playlist. Does that make sense? Did you guys understand that? Lisa, you said you had two questions.
Oh, and so yeah, it looks like right now it says worship lyric, and by the way, if you don't have, this is actually a great resource that I found, worship lyric videos, and it says it can be used for streaming and services online. Find out more. So I'll go back and look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $3.99 a song. I mean,
that's
excellent.
way awesome.
Trust me, yeah, that's why I said I don't use that other one, because it's like $15 a song.
Yeah.
And you can have it in 4 different formats.
What was your other question?
But my other question is, your setup right there looks great for like an in-home studio type of a setup with the lights, but you don't have all that in front of Jerry when he's up on stage.
Oh, heavens no. We've got so much more.
So can you break it down on how do you, or what do you guys use? I mean, do you guys use the great big gigantic cameras in the back for his live streaming? So what do we do for us little podunk churches where I'm literally, which I've lost my tablet between there and here, I gotta go back to that.
Oh no.
And so I literally take my iPad thing and I stick it on the music stand, shove it up here, try to find that my light, the sun is not too bad here to have a thing, and I have, at this point, I don't even know how I'm gonna Ethernet anything.
Yeah.
From the sanctuary, because my internet is in the office down the hall.
Right.
Everything is Wi-Fi.
Right.
So, but Todd and I have been talking about trying to, how do we get a real camera in there somewhere situated in the sanctuary?
Right.
To do that.
A camera and a computer.
Camera.
Right? And the camera needs to be like ready to be able, like my little Logitech camera here. I think, David, didn't you say you saw these for like 99 bucks now, or?
So would the best be is like literally put a computer monitor right there on the platform between me and the congregation and do a Logitech thing? Or do I invest in a nice streaming camera, which I don't have a problem investing in something like that? A lot of YouTubers, I mean, that's, we're in the YouTube thing.
There are so many other cameras, Lisa, that you could get that you don't have to put this close to you, nor do you have to get the big giant news anchor, camera. We've got some. We've got 4 at the church. So, David.
So if you notice what they're using in here in the main venue are those little teeny tiny, kind of like the point and shoot camera of camcorders. They're Canon Vixios. You can get them for like $200 off of bhvideo.com or whatever, it's photo video or whatever. B&H. They are the recommendation that I got when I was looking at it.
Vixia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Canon
So,
Yes.
okay, so even with that, do you when you live stream, how do you get from
So-
the cameras to the live stream?
Right. So this one just plugs USB-C into my docking station of my I did this all on a Surface Pro 7.
Okay.
It's not even a full computer. It's like a tablet computer thing. It's this little guy here. This is a TV screen. This is a TV monitor.
It costs $100.
It's an LG because I needed an extra one. And then David's got his computer showing you the live stream so you guys can see what we're actually doing while we're actually doing it. This is, like I said, this has been live the whole time, going over our church's Facebook and YouTube channel. So the camera that you get, the biggest thing you want to make sure of is that quality-wise, don't go anything below 4K. 4K cameras are not that expensive anymore. And I just say that because that's going to get you the best video. It'll go right into a computer, a laptop, okay? And if you can run a hard line from your router in your office, down the hallway, snake it around the floor, put it under carpet, throw it up in the attic, do whatever it takes, get you a hard line into your sanctuary and set your camera up in there somewhere, okay? Do that. In our church, we've got stage lights, and we've got now 4 video cameras that all move on a little control box with a joystick, and they zoom in and out, and they pan left and right and up and down, and of course all of our sound, I told you about that, runs into that on a special line out of the soundboard, so we remix that. We're getting pretty close to our time, but we still got 5 minutes. Anybody? Phil?
Your OBS is your encoder?
Yeah, I use the OBS as the encoder because the physical encoder that comes with my Surface Pro 7 is not good enough. It's not fast enough. So I use their software encoder, and honestly, it does a great job. I got to tell you, remember, this is all technology. There are days I get up, I get the devotion loaded, I get ready to go, and you hit the go live button, and it's like, uh-oh, this isn't good. Technology is only good when it works.
Do you have any experience with hardware encoder boxes?
I don't, but I'll tell you what, Tim Nyman, who's sitting in the back of the sound booth back there, he does. Tim Nyman's from Spokane Bethel Church. He's been doing our live streaming of our district assemblies I can't tell you for how long, okay? Years. Yes?
Do you guys use hardware encoding for the sanctuary?
No. We use OBS. We use OBS.
You know, my problem is, I'm the technical staff at my church. So
Yep.
everything has to be automated completely in order to live stream a service.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a hardware encoder box, which I bought, that will pump directly to YouTube. And then now I need an HDMI camera to put into it.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm gonna run hardware Ethernet from the router to the
Yes.
sanctuary.
Yes, yes, yes. Chris D.
We, in Chelan, we've been using Vivo.
Yes.
Vivo Star Camera, and one of the nice things that's been for us is it has been, we've been able to do it pretty automated like that. It's about $381 for the camera itself. There's an app on your phone, you can utilize Wi-Fi, and it could stream it to multiple different platforms.
Yeah.
You could use RTMP and stream it straight to Facebook and then also to YouTube. We primarily use Facebook, but it's been a great resource for us.
Mevo.
Yeah, Vivo, yeah.
Yes, I can't.
I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying as far as, if you go with the CCLI Plus, you're good for live streaming. But now if you want to keep that sermon or that worship on a Facebook page, you've got to edit that out, is that correct?
No, what Lisa's question was is she's using canned video with songs done by the musical artist, whoever is providing the stuff. So she doesn't have a praise band. She doesn't have anybody running PowerPoint. It's actually a video of that song.
It's an MP3.
It's an MP3. There you go. So the song in and of itself is a pre-recorded by somebody else type thing. So she's got to go in and look at her end user license agreement, because even though it says it's for streaming, there's some other things in there. It said something, see the...
Well, it says learn more.
Learn more.
You can use it.
Okay.
If you want to know more information, click here.
Right. That more information is going to probably talk about whether or not she leaves that music on once it has gone uploaded to YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is, and it's online for people to re-watch it later. That's where you got to be careful. Okay? If you're just using, if you're just using songs that you downloaded out of Song Select and your band is playing them and stuff, and you have the streaming plus, you're good. You're good to leave that up there. Anything, I thought, did I miss a hand somewhere? I've got these lights in my face, so if I missed you, I'm so sorry. But it looks like our time is up, and guess what? I have 10 minutes to tear down what took me from, what time we come in here this morning, David? 9:30? Yeah. Dr. Sundberg got done with her message, and we came in here. And we left for lunch, and had a great lunch, and then we came back in here. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, I've got my cards up here. Would love to talk to you some more later on, but thank you for stopping in and asking your questions. I hope I helped out. You guys have a great day. For my friends online, hey, we will see you next time. God bless.